Everybody's getting a glow up this week, including you. You are getting a glow up, and you're getting it in 3 points in your chart this week. And then Mars and Mercury are going to take it and move it out as action into the world. Welcome to my channel. My name is Kenlyn. We're going to talk about reinvention and how the cosmos is supporting each one of us in our reinvention to become more of who we really are. That requires shedding the conditioning, shedding the not self. That's a term from human design that I like to use in the work that I do. So remember last week, if you tuned in, I told you that I was going to run my own custom genius report, my map and action plan. Well, I did it, and it was a gauntlet. Now I know what other people go through when they're with me. It's amazing. It's illuminating, and it can be confronting. And in fact, I am choosing some 180-degree different paths because of what I discovered about how I operate. We really drilled down. Me, my higher self, and my AI app, we really drilled down to the very essence of my genius and how I've been out of alignment, which my second Saturn return has been smacking me around on. And I've been getting the teachings. And believe me, it's been brutal. I've been researching second Saturn returns. And now I will say that as Saturn has retrograded back into Pisces, finishing up the Saturn returns for those people who have Saturn in Pisces, I'm getting the gold. And that is what Saturn promises. So if you're Saturn in Aries, you can go check your chart. I'm just sending you blessings. We're going to say more on this channel about Saturn in Aries. And I want you to know that whatever you have to go through is going to be, there's going to be a big, beautiful light at the end of that tunnel. That's the promise of Saturn if you do the work. And it's hard not to do the work because it's so confronting. But back to my genius report, I felt like it reoriented me toward a truth that I was avoiding. I think that's the big one. So if you're in a transition, I've got a few spots left, and you feel like you would like my support in seeing your maps and integrating your maps and then creating an action plan, I would love to do that. I know that the people who come to me are called. They all tell me for some reason, I know I'm supposed to be here. And we put lots of prayers around it so that our oversouls are coming through and speaking. And I say that because each one of us has a mission. We're here for a reason. And everything that we experience, from the low lows to the high highs, are meant to make you more of yourself. And sometimes, honestly, it's those low lows that really have you dig deep and find out who you are. And we don't want to hear that. We want to hear all rainbows and butterflies, but at this age, we kind of know that, yes, we'll hit a hard patch, but we will move through it. And this Genius Map can help you move through it if you are in one of those stages, or if you're in a simple reinvention. I don't know if any of them are simple, but simple meaning, it's not a second Saturn return. It's not a Chiron return. It's not a Uranus return or a Uranus opposition. It's life. It's Pluto in one of your houses. It's Uranus in one of your houses. It's upgrades that you're experiencing. Like, I really got the lesson. I really did these skills. I really put my 10,000 hours here. And now I'm ready to step into my genius, not just my zone of excellence. I'm really ready to be at the cutting edge of my genius. That's what we talk about in the mastermind. So I laugh that, I couldn't see it until I intentionally made the space to see it. I can't wait to share it with my women in a couple of days who are in the mastermind. We're gonna have a lot of laughs on that. So let's start off with these trines. These trines are big. It's this Pluto and Venus is metamorphizing, if that's a word, so that you can emerge more of yourself. It's having you during that Pluto retrograde cycle. It had you confront a lot of fears. It had you confront phobias. It had you confront things that maybe you were not paying attention to. Just look at the things that you consumed, like the places of interest, where you took in new information. There was part of your subconscious, unconscious that wanted to know it, grapple with it, align with it. I watched a bunch of videos on AI. I also watched a couple of videos on nuclear arms, nuclear power, nuclear war. And that was very out of character. I had not done that. I was curious why. And what I realized was that was the Pluto retrograde. That was me and my subconscious getting really clear with deep existential fears, so that whatever I bring forward to you as where we're headed doesn't have this existential, at least it has this existential crises kind of integrated into my being. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm not afraid. I looked at head on. I'm not afraid. And now I have more optimism for the future, the more that I learn about these cycles that we're in. So Pluto had been retrograde since May 4th, and he stations direct on October 13th. So we're going to see more movement in the early stages, early degrees of Aquarius. And then we have Venus trining Uranus. Uranus is the revolutionary, the liberator. So wherever Uranus is in your sign, Uranus is changing things up. He wants to liberate you even more. He wants you to innovate even more. So I'm not going to talk too much about Uranus and Gemini or these 4 Hindu goals that I'm going to tell you about in a moment. That's all in a masterclass that I've already recorded. It's, I think, 41 minutes and something like that. And I'll put the link to it in the description box. That goes into the big macro cycles that we're in and how Uranus and Gemini correlates to that. And then we go into the 4 reinvention codes that are not astrological. And then we go into where is Uranus in your own chart. So we're going to pick up just that one piece of Uranus, but we're not going to go into the whole big context. You can do the masterclass for that if you so choose. So Venus trining Uranus. Venus is giving you the permission slip to make it yours, make it beautiful, make it juicy. And Uranus is also asking you to radically accept expressing your unique self, because he's the planet of awakening to your true self, to reality and innovation and change that wants to come through us individually. So it could be a way of being, a style of dress. That could be a very Uranus and Gemini, Uranus and Venus conjunction. Uranus and Venus trine. That could be a very Uranus and Venus trine. Okay, so let's start off before we get to the rising signs, let's look at the rest of the week, because I want you to know that the rest of the week will still have this frequency, even though it lasts, this trine technically is a couple of days. We have motion forward, and a few of those motions forward are Mars trining the North Node. So Mars is the planet of action, trining a very good energy, harmonious energy with the North Node, where we're going, our collective future destiny. So Mars is going to move this ball forward. It's go time. We have that happening October 14th through 17th. We have, through the backdrop of this week and continuing on into November, we have this Chiron retrograde in Aries squaring Jupiter in Cancer. That, to me, is bringing up subtle but important wounds that are here to be healed. And the healing can be as simple as acknowledging, oh, that's what happened, or seeing it for the first time. Maybe we just catch the pattern. There's something in our awareness that catches the pattern. A friend of mine just texted me and she was like, oh my God, the same pattern is happening as it was 20 years ago. And she kind of laid it all out. That's part of this Chiron retrograde square Jupiter. It's not big. It's not dramatic. It's, wow, okay, I know the playbook. Now I know what to do. Or if I have to break old contracts, if Jupiter is asking me to expand my sense of self beyond those old contracts, I know what to do. Okay, we also have the sun squaring Jupiter. That's going to bring in more discipline and focus and the sense of getting things done that you care about, your big, bold ideas, putting them into action and letting Lord Jupiter, the Lord of abundance, take it and run with it, the Lord of expansion. That's happening the 15th through the 18th. We have Mercury trining the North Node on October 17th and 18th. And think of Mercury like Mars was trining the North Node, so putting some things into action of our collective future destiny. And then Mercury, the messenger, having conversations. As things start to come into 3D reality, now we get to have these conversations about that future that we're stepping into. And then we have Mercury then will conjoin with Mars. So the two players that we're talking to the North Node come together in alignment, in agreement, and move the ball forward. They'll be in Scorpio. So there'll be some depth. There'll be some intensity. There may be some truth telling, but there also could be some big transformation happening. So I don't see anything that gives me pause. I mean, we just walked through the eclipse and we've just been scrubbed down, reorganized, purified. We've made space. We've let go. We've sacrificed. I mean, it was big. You think about all that energy in Virgo, the South Node, the eclipse, the sun, the moon. It was, and then Pisces on the other side, when it was lit up, it was just so intense in that Virgo mansion. It got worked, and Venus was there. Venus was more militant there. She was more particular there. And now she gets to experience and relax from all of the work that she's done, that you've done, that we've been doing, prompted by the geometry in the sky. All right, so let's move in now to your rising sign. We'll start with Aries, and you're going to listen for 3 points. Now listen for the other sign in your element. So like Aries is a fire sign. Listen to the other 2 fire signs, Leo and Sagittarius, because they have the same points, but a different order. And you may get some nuances that I don't say in your rising sign that illuminate something that you need to know. So as we start off with Aries, you're being affected in your karma house. Let me say that we have 4 houses: karma, moksha, dharma, you've heard that word, and artha. And those are these 4, let's say, Hindu philosophies that make up a balanced life. And I talk about this more extensively inside that masterclass called the Reinvention Code. You can see that in the description. So I won't go into it in detail here, but they're important because they're themes. They're the philosophies or themes of a particular topic that will make it very clear. By example, I'll show you in a minute as we go through of what's being activated, what's being up for renovation and change. So Aries rising, you're being activated in the 7th, 11th, and 3rd houses. So Venus is in your 7th house because your rising's in the 1st. I'm using whole sign astrology. That means that your 7th is opposite you, and that's where Venus is in Libra. And so relationships and partnerships become the portal for your reinvention. Write that down, because this trine is activating the Kama houses. Now, Kama is about desire. It's called Kama. It's about desire, connection, community. Your glow up is social and relational. So isn't that good to know? I mean, then you can now align. You might have thought it was something else, and now you're knowing that it's how I do my partnerships. It's how I do my friendships. It's how I do community. It's who you're attracting into your world now. You probably have new friends, and how you're showing up with each of those friends and in partnership. It's the pleasure of truly being yourself and being seen, because Pluto in the 11th is transforming your entire network and your vision of the future. It's big. This is big stuff. And then Uranus in the 3rd is liberating your daily activities, your voice, your mind. The 3rd rules a lot of different things. Could even be your neighborhood, your family dynamics, not your mother, father, siblings, but everybody else, cousins, nephews, aunts, uncles, friends. So Venus here says the quality of your connections is the reflection of your evolution. Take that to heart. The unique genius emerges. So here we go. Your unique genius emerges through collaboration, communication, and daring to desire what you really want in relationships. So Aries rising, let yourself be juicy and magnetic. I'm beaming you love. Tell us how it works out. Taurus rising, you're being hit in your Artha houses. As you guys know, I'm a Taurus rising, and I just knew that my breakthrough was going to come through these Artha houses. And Artha is money. Artha houses are the 6th house, the 10th, and the 2nd. So all you earth signs, rising earth signs, pay attention. Venus for a Taurus rising is in the 6th house. That's where Libra is. It's refining my daily rituals, my health, and my work. I just had all my labs done. I went to Pilates like 6 times when I was in California. You know, I'm feeling on the top of my game. This trine is lighting up all these money houses, these Artha houses. It's career, it's resource, it's practical mastery. It's my standing, my reputation, how I'm seen in the world. So my glow up is new income streams. If you're a Taurus rising, your glow up is new income streams, career momentum, and a body that feels good to live in. Isn't that awesome? So yeah, if you haven't been paying attention to your health, chances are something recently has made you pay attention to your health. So Pluto in the 10th has been dismantling old professional identities. And, Pluto works his way through, and you're on the docket for your career. Uranus in the 2nd is revolutionizing your relationship to money, which is also your relationship to your self-worth. That's a big one. So Venus is the bridge. Venus in the 6th. She's saying career, money. What's the bridge? Your daily work, how you show up, the work that you choose, the health that you cultivate, and where and how you magnetize material transformation. This is a house of material transformation, the Artha house. So your genius is the devotion to your craft and caring for yourself well enough to sustain it. That's huge. As a projector, I got to tell you, every time I speak to a generator, I would say maybe over 70% of the time, they're exhausted. They're burned out. And so there's something really real about doing the Artha house of your chart, doing it differently, doing it where your body gets to go with you. So let's move on to Gemini rising. Gemini rising, you are affected in your Dharma houses, 5, 9, and 1. Venus in your 5th house is making creativity, pleasure, and self-expression. That's the vehicle of your reinvention. The trine activates your Dharma houses. That's your purpose. We use the word Dharma for purpose. It's really this like natural law, the thing that makes so much sense. It's your purpose, your identity, your philosophy. So your glow up is about becoming radically yourself. And that means letting your creative fire and your joy, your Shakti, that's the 5th house, be non-negotiable. So if you're working in a way that burns you out, if you're doing anything that isn't your joy, you've got to let it go. You get to let it go. Pluto in the 9th is transforming your very worldview. I just went through this. I can tell you it's true. You will not emerge with the same beliefs and ideas that you had before, which is a good thing because we are evolving and all that stuff is not even relevant. So your vision of the future is also being reborn, reimagined, expanded. And Uranus in the 1st, this is deep. Like Uranus in the 1st is truly reinventing who you be. Again, I just went through that with Taurus rising, and it does deliver. And again, it's a long transit, so it's not abrupt or horrible or 0 to 100 in 1 second. It's over time you become a new person. So the 1st is liberating you from the old versions of yourself. Venus here says, express yourself, create it, romance it into being. I love that. Richard Rudd used to say that about melancholy, like romance your life into being. Your unique genius, it's how you be who you are in your embodiment. That's what makes you you. So let yourself be seen in your full creative power. I love that. It's very powerful. All these are super powerful. So Cancer rising, you are being activated in your moksha houses. Now, moksha houses are spiritual houses. Those are the 4th, the 8th, and the 12th. And if you have a water rising sign, you want to pay attention to this Cancer, and you're going to hear your own. It'll just be in a different order. Venus in your 4th brings home and family and ancestors and your private life and your emotional foundation to the heart of your own reinvention. This trine activates the moksha houses, which is deep healing, release, spiritual surrender, divine connection, oneness. And so your glow up is actually internal. It's private. It's ancestral. It's about creating a sanctuary, like letting your internal life be your sanctuary. It's healing family dynamics, family patterns, childhood wounds. The fourth house rules childhood wounds or your childhood. Finding emotional security within yourself. This is so beautiful. You will emerge with a deeper connection with God and just strong in yourself, like your center is intact. So Pluto in the 8th house, it's been transforming your intimacy and shared resources, but also maybe like fears around death, maybe seeing behind the veil, maybe doing plant medicine and seeing behind the veil, touching in on the mystery. And Uranus in your 12th has been liberating you from old karma. This is like subconscious, unconscious stuff. That's why maybe even doing plant medicine would be really, really good. Venus is nesting. She's saying your genius needs to be in a safe container. Home is where the healing happens. Root deeply to rise. So this is your opportunity to make such deep unconscious changes that all the outer stuff will eventually reflect it. Okay, so Leo rising, your karma house, 3rd, 7th, and 11th. Venus is in your 3rd house, and that's communication, learning, that's skills-based learning, neighborhoods, local connections. Those are the portal for your glow up. This trine activates the karma house, which we said is relationships, community, even mental stimulation. It's about ideas. So your reinvention is intellectual and social. It's how you speak. It's what you're learning, who you're connecting with. It could be just even the people that you see every day in your neighborhood. Pluto in your 7th has been transforming your partnerships, and that's going to be ongoing. And Uranus in the 11th is liberating your friendships. So it could be that you're introducing yourself to whole new people, groups of people. And it also rules your hopes and dreams, your future vision. So Venus here says your genius is in your communication, your voice, your ideas, and your ability to connect with others. So I want to say, Leo rising, speak your truth beautifully. Your words are magnetic. Really be mindful of what you say. They are the power of creation. The right conversations can change everything for you. It's going to open up whole new worlds. These are transformative energies. Okay, Virgo rising, if you are an earth sign, you want to pay attention as well. But Virgo rising, you're also activated in your Artha Houses. Venus is in your 2nd house. That's your 2nd house of resources, value, money, self-worth. This is money. It's not money from other people. It's money that you earn. It's yourself. And that's going to be that money question and the self-worth, the upper boundary limit that you've placed on yourself because of your self-concept is going to be up for reinvention. This trine lights up your Artha houses. So work, career, and material foundation, as we've been talking about. Your glow up is financial and embodied. New income, worthiness upgrades, and tangible security. Write that down. Pluto in your 6th has been transforming your daily work, your health, and Uranus in your 10th has been revolutionizing your career. Chances are way new ideas and innovations are coming through. Let them come through. Let the old stuff go. It's going to also bring you into a more public role. Venus is the attractor. She's saying your genius is in knowing your value because she's in the 2nd house. So she's saying your genius is in knowing your value and calling in what matches. This is good stuff. Your money follows your worth. It's good for all the other Artha houses too. Your worth follows your devotion to your craft. That's 6th house. So you see how they all interplay. Libra rising, your Dharma houses of 1, 5, and 9 are being activated. Venus in your 1st house is literally making you the art project. It's not the project, it's the art project. This trine activates your Dharma, which is again self, creative expression, higher meaning, purpose, the thing that's just right. Your glow up is physical, it's magnetic, it's embodied. You're literally becoming the most authentic version of yourself. Like that should be your mantra. I am becoming the most authentic version of myself. Pluto in your fifth is transforming your creative power, maybe your entrepreneurial enterprises, maybe your self-expression, maybe your relationship with your kids. Uranus in your ninth is liberating your beliefs. Like, there are just a lot of beliefs that have to go. They're anchoring you to a past that no longer exists. So your world is about to get massively expanded. And so your presence, my friend, is your reinvention. The genius is to be unapologetically you. So how you look, how you move through the world, maybe how you even dress is going to change, how you do your hair, everything gets to change. I mean, use it as a permission slip to do the things you wanted to do. How you express yourself. How is all of the thing that you call you, your personality, a reflection of the truth of who you really are? This is where the magic happens. So own your magnetism, sister. These are so fun. All right, Scorpio rising, moksha houses, 12th, 4th, and 8th. So Venus is in your 12th house. That is where we make this reinvention deep, unconscious, in your dream space, spiritual. It's the trines lighting up, surrender, emotional foundation, transformation, connection with the divine, because that's the moksha house. And so your glow up is happening behind the scenes. You may not even really know, but over time, you're going to feel how different you really are. You might have really weird dreams. Those dreams are healing you. They're releasing you from whatever is holding you back. It could be even addiction patterns that you just couldn't get a handle on. This trine can help you. Pluto in your fourth has been transforming your home, your private life, maybe your inner child, family dynamics, and Uranus in your eighth has been revolutionizing, let's say, intimacy. Even it could be your shared resources with another, the way that you guys share joint accounts, or like taxes or investments. And Venus is in this 12th house, the gentle dissolver. She's saying your genius emerges through rest, through letting go, through the dream space, through trusting the invisible, and really knowing that you are the mystery, and to make some space for that in your life. So what you release now makes space for the next chapter. All this very, very deep work is making space. So beautiful. All right, Sag rising, you are being activated in your karma houses of 11, 3, and 7. So Venus is in your 11th. So you can see how we're moving around the wheel, and Venus is taking in different places, but she's hitting the same points as the other fire signs. So Venus in your 11th makes community, friendship, your hopes and dreams, your future vision, the focus of your glow up. This trine activates this karma house, desire, connection, collective purpose, relationships, pleasure. And so your reinvention here is social and aspirational. Who is in your circle? That's so important. What future are you building toward? And how does your genius serve the collective? I just heard a statistic the other day that when you're literally sitting next to a person who is really in their power, you become in your power. If you're sitting next to someone who is not, who's maybe running victim templates or negative, and we all know those people, and they've got lots of excuses for things. And look, we were all probably that person before we became who we are now, but that actually brings the energy of the whole group down. So when you're looking at this 11th house glow up, Venus is asking you to surround yourself with the people who make you and your genius like activates your genius to actually serve the world. It's beautiful. Pluto in the third transforms how you think and how you speak. It rules communication. And Uranus in your seventh is liberating you from old partnership agreements, outdated contracts, and I mean business or romantic. So Venus here says people are finding you. You are the beacon, and people will find you. And your genius thrives in this kind of collaboration with these kinds of people. So dream big, build big, bring your community around what matters. I think that's so beautiful. I think all of them are beautiful. All right, we got a few more. Capricorn rising. You have Artha Houses 10, 2, and 6. That's what's being activated in these two trines. So Venus is in your 10th house. And it's interesting where Venus is because Venus is going to move out. This is a transit. It's happening for a time. It's initiating something. Where Pluto and Uranus are, they're staying. So Venus in your 10th is adding your career to create this triangle in this Artha house, these three houses about money, finance, and material things, puts your career and your public presence at the center of this reinvention. The trine activates this Artha house, which we said are resources, daily work, professional recognition, money. So your glow up is visible. It's you being visible, new opportunities, public acknowledgement, stepping into leadership. And Pluto in your second has been transforming your self-worth. It will transform the way that you earn money, the way you make money, the way that you magnetize money, but all that comes from your self-worth. Remember, we talked about that in the other earth signs. So Uranus in the 6th has been revolutionizing your work. So that's where you may have felt some upheaval in your actual work and maybe even in your health. Maybe your work affected your health or your health affected your work. Venus is claiming the throne here. She's saying your genius is meant to be seen and your work is meant to be celebrated. So don't forget that. You've been through a lot and don't forget that. After all the Virgo cleanup in the South Node, yes, now you can shine. Now you can build the legacy. And then, like I said, we're going to have these trines coming up that'll help move this ball along. All right, loves, 2 more left. We have Aquarius rising and your Dharma houses are being activated. That's 9, 1, and 5 because Venus is in your 9th house, which makes philosophy, travel, learning, expansion, foreign people, foreign travel, the vehicle for your glow up. So this trine lights up the Dharma house, identity, purpose, creative expression, what you're here to do. Your reinvention is think about the 9th house, broadening your horizons. That 9th house is the house of Sagittarius, of Jupiter. It wants you to think big. It wants you to think higher and stepping into a bigger version of yourself. Like, who do you see yourself becoming? Pluto in your 1st has been transforming your entire sense of self. So that's deep and that's going to be long. While Uranus in the 5th is liberating creative ideas, pursuits, maybe taking away some entrepreneurial ventures that were not meant for you, or taking away some romantic situations that were not meant for you and replacing it now, activating it now, putting it in concert with that Pluto and that Venus. So Venus here says your genius is your ability to inspire, to see the bigger picture and to make meaning beautiful. Teach what you're learning and your evolution is contagious. I love that. You are a teacher. All right, Pisces rising. This is our completion here. And we're going to end with the Moksha house, the spiritual houses of 8, 12, and 4. So Venus in your 8th is bringing intimacy with shared resources. Maybe you're coming to terms even in a beautiful way with your own mortality, that you understand that you're actually bigger than just this body. There's psychological depth to your reinvention. This trine activates this spiritual house, this divine connection of release and healing, and really shores up a new spiritual foundation. So your glow up is also happening, as we've said before with the other water signs, in the unseen realms, in these energetic exchanges, in what you are releasing, in what you're receiving when your conscious mind has no idea, and how you're healing these ancestral patterns. So maybe you've given a lot of thought to the past and your lineage and what kinds of patterns you are up against or that you have dissolved. Those are big questions for this moksha activation. Pluto in the 12th has been composting old karma, and I will even say grief. and lots of grief. And grief is normal. It's a normal part of these cycles. When we mature to a certain place, like the second Saturn return, there's a reckoning that of how you actually lived your life. And there is true regret. And that's not bad. It's bad if you judge yourself and then you hide because you're so harmful to yourself. But it's actually really good to see, even the folly and the frivolity of our youth, and to then really take it in as wisdom. And that's happening. And that can happen with Pluto in the 12th house. It's just deep. So Uranus is in your fourth. That's again your private life, your home. And it's revolutionizing your sense of home and emotional security. Things, when you become more spiritual, become less attached to things. So maybe your emotional security is getting rooted in something else. So Venus is your guide through the underworld. Venus is the star that shines in the daylight, in the nighttime, and then she disappears. So she is familiar as Persephone of going into the underworld. So let Venus be your guide. And she's saying that your genius is in your capacity to transform, to merge, to alchemize. So trust what's being transmuted beneath the surface. Trust that it is, even if you can't see it. You just know you are deeply changing. So that's what I got for you for this week. It's big, it's bold, and those kinds of changes are going to take flight as this week moves ahead. We're going to have some water trines that we run into that will also be manifesting and moving things along, but could also indicate some emotionality and reckoning with anything that we haven't yet seen or felt. So it's a big, big, powerful ending to 2025. Let's rub our hands together and beam it out. May all beings benefit from the merits of our efforts.